with Carolann Jennifer Looney. Very excited this week. We're building our community of business leaders and having them on the show.
It's been a really fun week, pulling into March, and all of these different award banquets and award shows. We've got Academy Awards, we've had Chamber Awards.
Wow.
All kinds of awards. This is the time of year to celebrate.
Oh, I'm going to do my James Franco.
Okay.
Head. Okay, we need you to do Anne Hathaway though. You got to go over the top now to pull the thing out of the gutter.
To make it as boring as possible.
Pull it out of the gutter. Pull it out of the gutter. I'm gonna go change clothes.
Yeah. I need 5 wardrobe changes in 1 nomination.
Yeah. I was starting to feel bad for her after a while.
Well, what we were thinking about is this month would be, since everybody's celebrating awards.
That's right.
And several different awards are coming out. Already out for 2011 is the best places to work list. Now, there's a couple of different companies, magazines, industries that calculate this, formulate this. So you'll see them slightly different in different trade magazines and online forums and things like that. But we chose to go to the CNNmoney.com
this time around anyway,
and get our top 10. There's a top 100 list in there if you'd like to research it. What we want to talk about this whole month is the best places to work and why.
Why you should have one, yeah.
Absolutely. And some of the why nots, like why wouldn't they make the list? Why wouldn't your company make the list?
Oh, I've got some good why nots. We can talk about that later.
And what we're really thrilled about is last week we had a wonderful guest, author, speaker, trainer, Jack Workington, and he is on with us again today with Life is a Sales Call, one of his books, and he is calling us from Houston today. Jack, are you with us?
I sure am. Good afternoon, Carolann and Jennifer.
Hey, good afternoon. Well, welcome back. So much good information last week. We have to have you back.
I'm delighted to be back. Thank you for the invitation.
Well, and one of the reasons why I wanted Jack on is because he's been not only an entrepreneur and worked leading sales teams, but he actually runs around the country and does workshops, training and seminars on relationship building and communication skills. So he's been in some of these companies, and I would assume was an integral part of possibly getting him on a list of best places to work. Would that be correct?
That would absolutely be nice.
That would be. And so one of the things we wanted you to say this week, real quick, before we get into our list, is tell our listeners and our viewers, whether they are live or listening in archive, or possibly even chatting with us, who you are, where you're from, and how they can get in touch with you.
Sure. Jack Workington. I'm the founder and CEO of Next Step Solutions. Next Step has been in business since 1995, and what we do is we help organizations, large and small, concentrate on the 2 things that comprise 85% of their success in business and in life. That's enhancing relationship skills and communication skills. Been in business from Chicago, born and raised, been in Texas for the last 23 years, with offices in San Antonio, Houston, and we've got some boots on the ground in Philadelphia as well.
That's awesome. One more question for you. You used to also be a radio show host. Can you tell us a little bit about your history there?
Yes, thank you for asking. I was the morning host, drive time host of a show called Where Wall Street Meets Main Street, which was broadcast up in your neck of the woods in Dallas, San Antonio, Houston, and in our peak, 3 different markets in Colorado as well. 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the morning, and we really focused on bringing Wall Street down to a place where Main Street would understand it and the impact of Wall Street on Main Street. Delightful experience. Did that for 5 years, and then we sold our last station in 2010 to Salem Radio Network.
Fantastic. So for our viewers and or listeners, you can see that Jack is not only filled with his own personal experience, but he's helped other companies as well as his own be some of the best places to work. even if they aren't ranked by CNN Money.
Well, part of the whole best places to work, or best companies to work, or whichever list you're on, has to do with you have to apply. So
Sure.
you can have a great place to work and have it not make a list simply because you didn't want to go through the expense and in trouble of putting in that app. But that said, it's a really good attractor of talent, which is one of the reasons why I encourage companies of any size to go do that, because you start to attract really good, the cream of the crop into your company when you're a best place to work and you're known for that. So what do you think about that, Jack?
I'll tell you what, I've thought about this a long time, and one of my favorite places to work early in my career was IBM. But over the years, I've narrowed down the reason why some places are considered the best places to work more than others. And one of the main reasons that a place is named is because they value their employees as the most important assets.
Yeah, I agree.
More so than customers, more so than products or solutions. The best places to work really incorporate the following criteria. Employers are the most important. They embrace an upside-down organization chart where the customer-facing employees are the most valuable and they're on the top of the chart, and everyone beneath them are considered support, the foundation for the people who do the real work. That's number two. Number three is the CEOs of best places to work never make 30,000 times more than their lowest paid employee, and that's what we see more and more in corporate America today.
Right. Absolutely. Great list. See, he was good at bringing Wall Street down to Main Street. Fantastic. And when we go to the winners are on cnnmoney.com, they are listing things such as fat paychecks, sweet perks, fun colleagues, and there are over 150,000 jobs ready to be filled. These employers offer dream workplaces, and we'd like you to meet the top 10 from the CNN Money. Now, there's Forbes. There's lots of different places you can go and look, and you may see them in different order. You can click through and see the top 100, but over the month, we're going to be talking about some of the reasons why these are best places to work and bring it down to some of our favorite places that maybe didn't make the list for either not applying and or they just didn't make it, and we know why.
Well, I can tell you
one of the things you have to be aware of is we're employing people from Gen Y now, which are my kids' age, for instance. And you have to understand, these employees are there for a good time, not a long time. And it takes a totally different way to inspire and keep these people interested. And it's unbelievable that money is often not their number one criteria. What you said before, Jennifer, was right. It's the workplace, the perks in the workplace, the flexible hours, the challenges, new jobs, new opportunities. Those are often more important. And the other thing the best places to work does is they keep their finances transparent. They're typically open book type systems where we know how the company makes money. We know when the company's doing well, when they're not well. So that transparency really is popular in today's workplace.
That is so true. And in the best places to work, they assume a fair wage. There's a huge misconception out there that this is tied up with money. And in fact, in Gen X, we're not all that money motivated either. And what we're finding is that even in the younger boomer generations, they're not money motivated either. They may have been earlier in their careers, but they're not now. Much more interested in contribution and legacy and what is my being here on this earth going to mean. And
creativity and purpose and passion.
Right. All that good stuff. So creating an environment that allows people to prosper, I think is important. And I think the numbers bear that out with public companies. We can see it year over year.
And Carolann, one other thing that's real important is the best places to work, they provide ongoing employee feedback, not just once a year during your performance evaluation, but throughout the year. And the best places to work are the companies that praise their employees in public and chastise them in private. And another thing is, the best places to work, everybody from the CEO down are on a first-name basis with each other. None of this Mr. Warkenbean or Miss Looney, at first-name basis.
Well, most people that worked with me or for me just call me Looney Tunes. So
Yeah.
that's my first and last name basis as far as I'm concerned with my sales.
And you can get away with that. And
Yeah.
by the way, that's another important thing, Jennifer, is frequent and ongoing communications. It's always important. And people like to have a fun work environment because if you make it fun at work, it doesn't feel like you ever have to go to your job.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more like a game. They keep score. They have competition, challenges. So if you like what you do, you never have to go to work.
Well, absolutely. And what I put on our little Facebook post was, these top 10 places that we're going to talk about throughout the month and with you today. They basically, that work is not considered a 4-lettered word.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it when people say, "Don't you love this?" Well, they call it work for a reason. And it's,
that's right.
Is that ever said in a tone that wasn't what I just did?
No, I don't think so. It's
Yeah.
always disgruntled or
Yeah.
sarcastic and something.
Well, I'm a big believer in, I like the metaphor of the love bank, where you keep making deposits into the love bank. On occasion, you can ask for a withdrawal and not be overdrawn.
That's a great analogy. What happens is most of these people are overdrawn on their bank account,
Right.
and they're pressing the relationships, and they're consumers, and they're not givers. And the best employees are the ones that do more than their job description. You never hear any of them say, "It's not my job." They do whatever has to be done and more. And that's how they get elevated, and that's how they get promoted within their company.
Yeah, and that's about employee engagement. The willingness to go the extra mile, or you do anything more than the bare minimum to not get fired.
Right.
Well, we are right up on break time, if you can believe it already.
Well, before we go to
Time
break,
flies when you're having fun.
before we go to break, because I think we have 1 minute, I'm gonna tell you the top 5 out of the top 10 real quick, and then we can come back after break and see the rest.
Mm-hmm.
So in the list is going to be SAS, and then Boston Consulting Group, BCG, Boston Consulting Group, Wegmans Food Markets. Now, didn't you do some research on them?
Yeah, I really like
good.
Wegmans, so we can talk about Wegmans.
Wegmans Food Market, Google.
Who's shocked that Google isn't number 1?
Hello.
I'm shocked Google's number 1.
We'll find out. And NetApp, which I'm not familiar with NetApp. So that's your top 5 out of the top 10. We come back out of this break. We'll talk about the rest and get some more information from Jack and how you can reach him.
All right.
Sounds good.
So for more information about your lovely host, you can see up on your screen both of our websites. I'm at vividepiphany.com and Jennifer is at beharmony.info. And of course, we've got our phone numbers and email addresses and all that good stuff.
Well, one of the things I wanted to say today that really ties in with what you do and what I do. So we've talked a little bit about relationship building. We've talked about communication skills within companies.
We talked about bad bosses.
We definitely have talked about bad bosses, but today specifically, what is it that makes it a best place to work? Absolutely. And I know that Vivid Epiphany and brain-based coaching, executive level coaching, executive and corporate communications coaching, that's what Carolann does. And so if you're interested in even trying to make the list, or not make the list, but go through the categories that Jack and myself and Carolann have shared with you today, look online to our listing and see how can you do that. And then you can look up Carolann Jacobs and Vivid Epiphany and see if there's something that you can do on a project basis with your team. How that relates to Jennifer Looney and Harmony is the specific team buildings, the games, the inspiration, the giving people problem solving but fun, so that they come out and feel like they can do stuff together. So that's how Be Harmony and Vivid Epiphany work together.
That's right.
We want to bring you information every week that has value to both corporate sales teams and small business owner sales teams, because even a team of one needs this information, help, and guidance, and we're happy to bring it to you every week. at the lunchandlearnshow.com, noon to 1 every Thursday, Central.